Hello and welcome back, Talkin Bengals. Here tonight, just me and Zach. Zach, how's it going, man?
Man, it's been a week, but as you can see, I'm back home in the quote unquote lovely state of Alabama.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. We're kind of running on a skeleton crew here. I mean, we don't even have Casey, so it might be a short episode tonight.
Probably
Um,
one of the shortest episodes we ever do.
yeah, most likely, most likely. We're probably gonna do some cheers and jeers. We have more jeers than anything, obviously. With being 4-7 coming into a bye week for week 12. Going to have a lot of speculation about what the rest of the season is going to kind of look like. And really want to make sure that we are making a shout out um, to one of our followers who is getting a free shirt. Well, not free, not free for us, but free to him. How about that?
No, I'm pretty sure you said something other than shirt. So
Yeah, I accidentally said short. It's okay.
I heard shark, but
Baby shark, who knows?
we are such dads, I swear.
So we'll get into that first topic. Cheers and jeers. Of course, that's always our first topic. Zach, I'll let you lead us off.
All right, so I was going to start off with my offensive cheers and jeers, and then I was going to do defense. And then, Nick, if you want to jump in on either of those, then, I'll let you also round out with your two topics of special teams and coaching. Um, the cheers and jeers for offense, for me, cheers wise, was Joe Burrow in the passing game. Obviously, Joe Burrow has been a phenomenal candidate for MVP, slinging the ball out there, crossing the 3,000 yard mark, only throwing 4 interceptions. Just absolutely amazing career. Put the team on his back. Coming back, we were down 27-7 at one point, or was it
6.
24-6?
Mm-hmm.
And he just said, "You know what? Let me help out." It was 27. It ended up being 27 at one point, and then you could only do so much. Defense came up and played a great second half. We thought we were getting the same old defense, and Joe was just like, "I got you. You just got to continue to get them off the field, and I'll take you the rest of the way." And then he left it in the hands of the kicker, unfortunately. So my jeer is going to be the same as I have before: is where in the world was Jermaine Burton? I just don't understand how we were supposed to have a three-headed monster in the passing game, and Jermaine Burton just wasn't as effective. I don't know if it's the off-field stuff. I'm not really sure. You guys know that I absolutely love to get really animated when it comes to the running game and the fact that we don't use the running game. I think my snap count was 22
Yeah.
all for the entire game. So I didn't want to beat that one to a dead horse, but when you only run the ball or call 22 play calls on the running game, like I said a couple weeks ago, you're asking for this offense to not produce and not set us up for a win. So those are my two for the offense and cheers and jeers. Defensively, my cheer goes to everyone else in the secondary, not named CTB. They played a phenomenal second half. DJ Turner stepped up until he broke his clavicle. Um, I think that what was the other dude's name that was playing really well? Not Mike Hilton.
Newton.
Newton, yes. Oh my gosh, the rookie played out his lights out. Why we haven't played him sooner is kind of amazing to me because he came out there and he was just doing a phenomenal job covering their ones and twos like he was a one or two. Mike Hilton stepped up, made a couple good plays. CTB had like 2 plays the entire game, but that's been the norm for his entire 2024 season. He'll make 1 or 2 plays, and the rest of the time he's on the side of the milk carton. Um, So it's just amazing to me what that is. My jeer on the secondary is not going to be CTB. It's going to be the injury bug. We got bit again. DJ Turner going out there playing a great second half, and then makes a phenomenal play, and then just luck of the draw goes out there and has a Chris Bryson moment and breaks his clavicle on a good play. So shout out to Chris. I know your dirty Steelers are playing right now. I hope they're losing. I know you're not listening to us right now, but you know that's how I feel right now. What about you? How are you feeling, Nick?
Um, I would say my offensive cheers would be the fact that Jamar Chase did the baby wipe. He did the baby butt wipe. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even care he got fined. I think it's stupid he got fined. But anyways, I mean, that was just awesome, right? And I didn't even know he had the whole deal with, dude wipes or whatever, but I mean, come on. That's just freaking hilarious. You gotta love that. Um, I'm gonna say that's my cheers because I kind of like this football. I kind of like the touchdown celebrations. Um, jeers offensively, the last couple drives, just duds. And we got into field goal range ish, and stop being aggressive. Stop doing what got us there, what got us to the point where we were ready to score. And I mean, we came back from a 3-score deficit, and then you stop being aggressive. Again, offense, you gotta be aggressive. Defense, first half looked atrocious, right? I think I said it in the chat. I was like, this defense looks like a freaking chain link fence trying to stop a flash flood. I mean, it was terrible. All of a sudden, the defense shows up in the second half. Offense shows up in the second half. Until the last, 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened there on those last couple drives where we left it in the hands of um, McPherson. I just don't understand how we went from getting back to 27. He misses the first one, and we're like, all right, cool. We're going to do this again. That was at 8 minutes, mind you. And then we're going to do this again with less than 2 minutes. No, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, I know that over the last couple of years that the Chargers have had a lot of hype behind Justin Herbert. But this isn't the Chargers that we've seen in the past. This is the Chargers led by, Jim Harbaugh.
It's a decent quarterback with
He's
a good coach.
He's a top 5 in the NFL right now. No question. Is he better than Joe? Absolutely not. I don't think that. And the people that are saying that he's better than Joe, y'all are on some crazy stuff right now, and I just don't understand that. But at the end of the day, he is at least a top 5 quarterback, and he's played well since week 2. I'm not going to take anything away from Herbert by any means, but Jim Harbaugh plays good football. He does it the right way. He gets his teams in the fight. He motivates them very well, and they're consistent. Right?
Yep.
They had a bad second half. They were up 27-6. I know I said 24-6, but it was 27-6 at one point. And freaking what happened? He didn't panic. He didn't do anything different. He let them even get in all the way back in the game. And then he got the ball back in his quarterback's hands. And he's even said, I don't want to coach another quarterback. This is my quarterback until I retire. That's a proclamation if I've ever heard one. So, but hey, you know what? Good on him. Good on the Chargers. They played a good defense. Number 1 defense, and what did I say last week? They only gave up a total of 20 points a game, and we put up 27. So they just had us up. They just had us a little bit more.
You know what, Zach? I'm gonna kind of go back into my cheers and jeers in the defense because I realized I didn't really give them. No, I kind of led you in on that one. So my cheers, second half, until the final drive, second half, brought it together. Of course, CTB wasn't out there until the last drive of the game. And what happened on the last drive of the game? CTB gave up.
Yep.
He gave up. He's the one who gave them the touchdown.
It's crazy.
And then on top of that, I'm going to say my jeers, CTB's, I would bench him. I would bench him for the lack of effort. I would bench him for the lack of being able to be a good teammate. That's probably the reason why Burton's not playing, is because he's not a good teammate. He's not a team player. I'm not going to put somebody out there that doesn't want to be a part of the team. If you want to go out there and be you, that's not going to win games. Going out there and being a part of the team and knowing your role as a part of that family, okay, you can work with that. That's where Jim Harbaugh really comes in and does a really good job as a coach. And he says, look, guys, this is a team. If you don't want to be a part of this team, great. We'll send you somewhere where you can play like that. But you're not going to do that here.
Yeah.
It's the reason why he was good at Michigan. That's the reason why he's going into LA for the Chargers, and that's the reason why they were able to win the game. But to go on and beat a dead horse a little bit more, the kicking game. The kicking game, right? What in the world is going on with Evan McPherson? I'm going to be honest with you. I can't put my finger on it. There's been talks about him having problems because of the new holder. There's been talks about him just not being right. Whatever. He's got the jitterbugs or whatever it is. He's got it all up in his head. Whatever it is, he needs to figure it out or else he's not going to have a job.
Yeah.
Because hands down, when you miss 2 makeable kicks like that, that's your fault. You have one job. Kick the ball through the yellow things that are standing straight up and over top of the yellow thing that's going straight across. That is your job, right? Anybody else not able to do that job is getting fired. Speaking of which, coaching staff. The lack of aggression when aggression is needed at the end of the game. I'm not going to beat the dead horse too much, but come on. How is Zach Taylor still the head coach of the Bengals right now?
It's Thursday and he still has a job.
How is Zach Taylor still the head coach of the Bengals, putting on such a poor performance in the first half, first of all, with play calling, where we only score 2 field goals in the first half when we're down in the red zone with one of the best red zone teams in the league. With the best quarterback, performance-wise, in the league. You can't deny it. He is the best he is the best performing quarterback in the league up to this week.
Yeah.
You cannot say that he's not. And on top of that, we had the best wide receiver in the league, stats-wise, performance-wise. Not only that, but he's also, in my mind, one of the best receivers to come in and play consistently for the Bengals. And that's a pretty high standard in my mind because you got Carl Pickens, Chris Collinsworth. There was another one that was in the comments at our last post. You have AJ Green, Chad Ochocinco. You have some really good wide receivers right there. And when I'm bringing in Jamar Chase into that conversation, I'm not saying it lightly. The man is an absolute beast. Give him the ball, and he's going to make people miss. Give him the chance in the open field to absolutely just burn people. And then we have T. Higgins. T absolutely burnt their defense. Being double covered, he got behind them. And that was just strictly just him outrunning them. How do you not use 2 of the best receivers in the league right now and be aggressive on the last 2 drives when you know I need to go down and score so that way I can give my defense some wiggle room?
Hold on, I'm gonna look up what T did because you brought him up. He had more receptions than Jamar, double the yardage than Jamar, and only 1 touchdown. And yards per catch, 16.4. He had 9 catches, 148, 16.4 average, and 1 touchdown on 13 targets. Jamar had the same amount of targets. Burton had 4 targets and 1 catch for 8 yards. That's the stuff I'm talking about. But you brought it. That's offense, right? Let's get back to the coaching stuff. How in the world do you, in your last drive, see? And I'm going to credit Tony Pike because Tony Pike's the one that pointed it out. He put the video out on X of the game breakdown and everything like that. You have, what was it, first down, right? 1st and 10. You have the go route that Jamar misses fingertips away, which doesn't usually happen, especially with that combo of Joe and Jamar. But, things happen. It's the end of the game. He's probably a little gassed, just a little bit. That man can go all the time, right? But second down comes, and what happens? They're in the huddle, get down to 12 seconds. They're coming out of the huddle. Jamar's on the sideline. Your best player, the league's best receiver, is on the sideline. You have 2 timeouts, and you don't call a timeout to get your best player on the field for your season being on the line. That's just criminal. Absolutely criminal. And then on top of it, dude, what do you you don't have you had T on the field. You had either Burton or Yoshi on the field. I think it was Yoshi. I don't think it was Burton. Hudson was on the field. I don't even think Gesicki was on the field. We didn't even set ourselves up for success on second down if we wanted to be successful. Because what are you doing when you take Jamar off the field? You're going to double or triple T. T's not getting the ball in that situation. So then you're going to go to your other outlets. And I'm not taking any credit away from Yoshi, right? But it just doesn't make sense. Zach Taylor's decision-making, right? You have an offensive coordinator. You're the head coach. Be the head coach. Let Dan Pitcher call the freaking plays because it's got to be better, and his decision-making's got to be better than what you're doing right now. Because, my God, dude. My God. It's just frustrating.
I mean, how do you call the same – well, okay, not only just play calling on offense, on defense. It's the end of the game. You've been playing successful man coverage for 2 solid quarters. And then the last minute of the game, you want to play soft zone again? They picked you apart in the first half by playing soft zone. Make them make a play. Put pressure on them. You're only rushing 4 guys, maybe 5 if you throw a blitz in. But then all of a sudden you just go back to zone, soft zone, dropping Trey Hendrickson back or Sam Hubbard in some form of coverage, and you don't even cover the flat, where you're literally giving them 10 yards every time they touch the ball.
Yep.
What are you doing? I am not a genius at all. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time with football. I just love watching football. Okay, I might have played a little bit in high school. I was not that good. Let's just be real about it. Okay, but in the grand scheme of things, I know at least if you're going to play some zone coverage, you need to at least cover the flat. There's a dump route for a reason. Cover it. You see the running back coming out of the backfield, you need someone to pick him up.
Yep. I 100% agree with you. I started looking at because you brought up defense coaching. I was trying to figure out what the stats were on our linebackers. So Akeem Davis Gaither, 1 total tackle. It was by himself. Jermaine Pratt had 8, 4 of them by himself. Logan Wilson, same thing. Joseph Vasai, 1 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. So we had 2 sacks on them. Trey had a half. CTB was in on that sack apparently too. So apparently he can get pressure on the quarterback. but he can't cover, in a soft zone to save his life. Osai had a tackle for loss as well. 2 quarterback hits. Trey Henderson had 2 quarterback hits. BJ Hill had 1. Did he get hurt, though? Did BJ Hill get hurt in that game, too? I
No
think he
clue.
did. I'm pretty sure he did, but he only had 3 tackles. Our leading tackler was Geno Stone with 9, 8 of them being by himself.
Oh yeah, because it was the guy he was covering who he let catch the ball.
So, just unbelievable. Von Bell, 2 tackles. Tyson Anderson, 2 tackles. Jordan Battle, 2 tackles. DJ Turner had 1, but he had 3 pass defended on that one. Hendrickson had 2. You're telling me your number 1 edge guy and the NFL's number 1 edge guy had 2 pass batted down deflections, and the only other one that had more than that was one of your corners, and he got hurt? What are we talking about right now?
So I kind of want to go in even darker, because now we're 4-7.
Yeah.
The Bengals are 4-7. The rest of the season, let's look objectively, take our bias out of it, because obviously we're rooting for the Bengals to win. Okay, Let's think realistically. All right, we had the Steelers twice. Do we even come close to beating the Steelers? Realistically.
Hold on. Let me. It's Thursday. Let me check the score real quick, and I'll tell you how I feel about it. They have. Let's see. It's the 4th quarter. They're down 18-13. Scoring drives, field goal. Oh no, there's an extra point, so they scored a touchdown there. Let's see. They've had 1 touchdown. 1 touchdown in 7.5 quarters of football. They're beatable.
So on top of this, though, okay, I'm bringing up the schedule. All right, let's just go week by week. Week 13, we got the Steelers at home, at our house. Do we win? I think that's a toss-up.
Coin flip.
Okay, very easily we could be 4-8. The Cowboys in Dallas, it's the Cowboys. I think that we beat the Cowboys. We play really well against the NFC. We play well against the NFC. The Titans, we have a bad history against the Titans. I see us losing that. Right? Right now, we're what? 5-9? The Browns, I see us beating the Browns, 6-9. Broncos, Bo Nix has been hot.
Yep.
And we're playing them at home, though, so I think we may have an edge. Okay, so positive thinking, 7-9. Then we play the Steelers in Pittsburgh. We're losing that one, 7-10. So we're right back where Casey was talking about last week with middle of the road picks. Now we're picking, 14, 15 out of 32 teams?
Probably like 13, 14, yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, what is this? I mean, either play to win, or let's see how the guys who aren't out there are going to play.
Yeah.
I mean, CTB obviously is not performing. Put him on the bench and trade him after the season's over. I mean, Newton obviously has a hair under his butt, and he wants to go out there and play and prove that he's worth something. Let him play. I mean, if we're wishful thinking here, I mean, Steelers, we usually match up really well with the Steelers. That could go either way at home. Maybe we're 5-7. Cowboys, I think we beat them 6-7. Titans, they don't have Derrick Henry. That's one thing we don't have to worry about. Yeah. Maybe now we're 7-7, 8-7 because there's the Browns playing them at our house, and then the Broncos. Right now we're 8-8 or 8-7. Okay, we're playing the Broncos at home. 9-7. Play the Steelers at their place. Maybe we're on a tear. 10-7. Do we make the playoffs?
I think it's possible, but the only thing is going to be what is 5, 6, and 7 doing? What are their records going to look like? Which right now you've got what? You've got the Chargers, you've got the Broncos, and who's the other one? It's nobody. Is it Miami? Is
I
Miami
mean,
the
it
other?
could be, for all I know.
Right. So I'm looking up. You brought up a good point. You were talking about Cam Taylor-Britt's contract. We selected him in 22, so we still have 2 years with him because he's through 2026. Because his contract was 4 years, $5.95 million when we drafted him 60th overall. So maybe we do trade him and try and see if we get something else for him, maybe some draft compensation and things like that. But going back to the schedule, I don't like playing Pittsburgh at home. Pittsburgh at home is usually the one that when we play Pittsburgh in recent memory, and I'm going all the way back to the dreaded 2015 season, right? And the playoff loss there. When we play Pittsburgh at home, we don't win. But when we play Pittsburgh, we typically win. So that being said, if we do lose that game and we're at 8, bro, cut sling load. Let everybody rest up. Bring in Browning. I know that's hard to do and that's a hard pill to swallow, but we got to get ready for 2025 and we've got to have a better pick than 12 or 13 or 14 or 15. I'm not saying you got to sit there and wait for Shedeur Sanders or, because I don't think Shedor's even going to be there at that late in the game. But, it would be nice to have a guy like, Travis Hunter, if he were to fall past 1. But I know everybody's got a lot of hype behind him.
I mean, what about McCoy? What about McCoy from Tennessee? He's been freaking tearing it up this year, and he's aggressive. Yeah. I mean, he may not be a top 10 pick, but I mean, dropping down to where we're probably going to be picking at, he's going to be a great pickup.
Yeah, and that's good. That's true too. Maybe we could. I don't know. I've got a lot of questions as far as where we go from there, but let's just say, like you said, let's just say the Bengals go on a tear on a 6-win streak, right? We go 10-7. We make the playoffs as the 6 or 7 seed, depending on how everybody else plays out, right?
Who are we playing? The Ravens.
You're playing, well, you could play the Ravens, you could play the Chiefs, and
the Chiefs are going to get the first round bye.
You don't know that? They just lost to the Bills.
Let's just be honest, okay? The NFL loves the Chiefs. They had to not have them be a perfect season. They can't have it too good for the Chiefs. So, okay, essentially they're undefeated. All right, them and the refs are playing against every other team. So, the Chiefs are going to win out. If not win out, they're only going to probably lose maybe one more game. Okay, they're going to take the AFC number 1. Right? Number 2 seed, most likely we're looking at the Ravens. Either the Ravens or the Steelers. If we don't beat the Steelers both games, we're looking at the Steelers being the number 2 seed. Either number 2 or number 3.
Yeah. So hold on. 10-7. Bills, Ravens, Bills, Ravens, Steelers, and maybe the Chiefs if something crazy were to happen, right? So those are your top 4 teams that you could potentially get suited up with, essentially, at 5 or 6. I still think it's not worth it because it's like Casey was alluding to. We're going to go back to middle of the road, packing. when it comes to the draft.
But what happens if we do make the playoffs and at the very least we win maybe the first game, maybe the second game? Like we win the wild card and then we win in the second round of the playoffs.
So that puts us back in the AFC Championship game, which is cool. That puts us in the top 4 teams of the league, and the last 4 picks, not a terrible thing, but that would be, so that's 6-game win streak, 7, 8.
That's 8 games.
That's 8 games in a row. And I'm not saying that this team is not talented and that they can't do it, but that is a very gruesome task to accomplish. There's a reason why we haven't had anyone go undefeated week 1 to week 25 or whatever it ends up being. You know?
I mean, all I'm saying is I agree. And like anybody with high hopes of us still going to the Super Bowl by any means and even having a chance to win in the Super Bowl, that is 10-game win streak. That is a 10-game win streak. The last team to win 10 straight games, wasn't it like the Miami Dolphins when Dan Marino was playing for them?
No.
Was it Brady?
Brady in 06. They went all the way to the Super Bowl and lost to the Giants.
Well, there we go. I forgot about that. Okay, so what, 18 years ago?
No.
Right? In this league, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, there's like I'd probably say in the 90s percentage-wise that it's not going to happen. And like there's no way that we're going to take it to the Super Bowl and win. I want them to prove me wrong because I love the Bengals. But I don't ever see it happen. It's not real. It's not a realistic expectation.
Guess what? You just proved that advertising on podcasts works. Reach thousands of local listeners each week and grow your business. Reach out to Talkin Bengals today to find out more by emailing talkinbengals@gmail.com.
Let's kind of pick it right back up where we left off. You know, let's think about optimism, right? Let's think about we go to the Super Bowl and win the championship. What does that look like? That looks like Lou Anarumo never calling soft zone again, unless we're in victory D and we're up by like 2 touchdowns, and there's less than a minute left in the game, and we're not playing against Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. That looks like Zach Taylor, if he's going to continue calling plays, he has to be aggressive starting out the game, throughout the game, and finishing the game, calling those plays to be aggressive. That looks like Evan McPherson not kicking a field goal over 45 yards. That looks like Trenton Irwin probably not returning any more punts. Why don't we try Yoshi out? Because he looks like he might be more athletic. And that looks like our defense putting their crap together for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
And CTB probably never playing on the field again for us. What gaps do you see in mind?
Yeah, I was trying to look up NFL teams with 10-game win streaks because I think I just saw that the Chiefs, going back to last season, were on a 15-game win streak. So until they lost this past week. But if we're going streaking
through the Quad Gymnasium,
Zach's gotta stop calling plays. That's number one. Lou can't go soft zone. Tampa 2 at best, on certain plays to mix it up, but everybody's got to play man. CTB doesn't play the field. I'm trying to think of who else, man. I don't know, dude. I really don't. I think those are going to be top 4 things that you can do. You got to run the ball. You got to continue to run the ball and take the pressure off of Joe Burrow. Joe is a one-man wrecking crew, and he can do it, but you can't drop back and throw it 56 times every single week and not expect to, you know. And we've got to get some favorable calls for him, man. That dude is on the ground way too much for being a top-tier quarterback and not getting calls. Like, I know he made the comment 2 weeks ago, and he was super professional about it. He's like, I just don't get those calls. It's not that big of a deal. Like, cool. Then you go back to the next week, and you make it worse for him. You didn't call a single thing on him this week. I just don't get it.
Yeah, well, he got the one roughing the passer call.
He got one. How many times was he hit? Pretty bad. There was
Pretty
at least
late.
three or four. Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa, whichever one of the Bosa brothers got to him a couple times.
It was Joey.
The linebacker that got had hit him super late. I mean, it was bad.
Man,
So,
it was so bad that the commentators are saying something.
yeah.
And that's bad. I mean, especially when you have Chris Collinsworth, like, coming out of his shell and actually saying, like, they need to start calling these. Like, Chris Collinsworth was even saying stuff about it. And we all know, if you've ever listened to our podcast ever, you know that I don't like Chris Collinsworth as a commentator. He has a love affair going on with Lamar Jackson, and especially with Patrick Mahomes, and it is completely obvious, and it's completely biased. I don't like it. Anytime he can get Patrick Mahomes in or Travis Kelce with whatever her face is, he's getting it in. He's getting it in the picture, and it's completely uncalled for. Like, you're trying to compare Joe Burrow to Patrick Mahomes. Get out of here. Two completely different styles of play.
Yep.
Joe Burrow is far superior in my opinion. And not only does he throw far fewer interceptions, he's far more accurate, and he doesn't throw some random throws that somehow get lucky and someone catches it on his team.
Yep.
So, long story short. So, moving forward, other than, kind of looking into what the Bengals need to do during the bye week.
If you're not killing your defense right now, I don't know what you're doing. What was it? What game was it that we ran like it was 2-a-days? It wasn't our junior year, it was our senior year. We got our was it Henry Clay when we played against the Boyd, when Boyd just had like 250 yards and we just ran for the next every day of practice. Like we didn't.
It was like double. It was like double. It was like double conditioning.
Like we ran before practice, we practiced, and then we ran after practice. I remember running 4 quarters so much that I was like, what other direction are we supposed to run other than left at this point?
I felt like we were in NASCAR. I mean, it was terrible, man.
Oh my gosh.
Like, going into the bye week, I think that preparation needs to be a deep self-reflection on the defensive part, on defensive coverages, right? Yeah. Pass coverage, and a huge mix-up on the type of pressure that we're putting on quarterbacks. And I think that offense, I think Zach Taylor needs to have a deep reflection of his play calling abilities, and he needs to understand he needs to be more aggressive. Not just at the beginning part of the game. He needs to continue to keep the aggression on.
Yep.
Put your foot on the gas pedal and keep it there.
100%. I also would say I saw a report Monday. There was one vehicle in the parking lot, and it was Joe Burrow's. Monday. I know it's a bye week. I know you traveled from LA. You got back super late. But you mean to tell me the only person that cares on this entire team is your starting quarterback? Bro, everyone's in that building. If Joe's in the building, I'm in the building. It's like we used to talk about it, and you see all the NBA guys talk about with Kobe Bryant. Like, you come to show up to work, and you're expected to work out with Kobe Bryant. Dude's already done 2.5 hours before you even show up. If he says he's going to be there at 6, he's been there since 3:30, and he's already did a 2.5 hour, 3 hour workout. And now you're expected to keep up, and he's still putting it on you. That's Joe's mentality right now, and I love it. I absolutely do enjoy that, but I need the rest of the team to catch up.
Yep.
And you know what? Maybe you know what, Joe? Go home. Go live in the film room. Go watch whatever it is that you need to go watch in the film room to make sure that you're prepared for this god awful Steelers team. But everybody else needs to be out there doing their part too. It can't just be Jamar and it can't just be Joe. You know, and I'm not saying that it's not a team mentality if they're not in the building, but bro, this is not it. This is not what we expected. I think most of our predictions were 13 wins plus for the most part, 12 to 13 wins across the board when we had Mark on. I'm scraping for 10. We're scraping bottom of the barrel just to get to 10.
Yeah.
Let alone 9. Let alone 6.
Yeah.
We're at 4-7 right now. This isn't it.
Who thought at the beginning of the year we'd be talking about this, man? Who thought at the beginning of the year, looking at the season that we had last year, if Joe Burrow was healthy?
We went 9-8 without Joe Burrow last year. Yeah. And we're 4-7 with a fully healthy, functional Joe Burrow, who's the league MVP.
And he made it through the preseason. He made it through the preseason without getting hurt. He made it throughout the whole, through 11 weeks of the season without getting hurt.
Yep.
And we're here. So, all right, score predictions bye week.
We lose by 20.
I mean, very realistic. I mean, especially with the way we played these past 11 weeks. I think we're going to average giving up about 350 yards total offense to the other team. And I think we lose, 24-13.
Would be surprised.
I mean, if it was possible, we'd come out of the bye week, 4-8. But final thoughts, Zach.
Man, we really need to regroup. That's really what it comes down to. Not just the Bengals, but with us as a team as well within the TB family. We've got to regroup. This is there's a lot of stuff going on, to the Sprague family. Our thoughts and our prayers are with you with all the stuff that you guys are dealing with. I know it's super late for Josh, and it was super late to reach out to Greg, but life's tough. Love on your loved ones. Be there with your friends and your family. You never know what they're going through. I don't think Pat's got this trademark, but be a friend, tell us something good. Like he always says on his podcast, ESPN, don't sue us. Those are my final thoughts.
My final thoughts, if you're not already, follow us on all of our social medias, Talkin_Bengals. Again, Talkin_Bengals. The only G there is Zach. Make sure you do give us a like and subscribe, follow. thank you if you've listened to us this long to our complaining session. And until next time, Hoo day.
Hooray.